start with some galaxy lettering today. You can probably watch this a little bit later, but we're going to do it a couple of different ways. We're going to start off with painting it, and we've got a couple of ways of painting it, faux lettering it, and then also watercoloring it. And for this one, we're going to essentially do some Tombow dual tip pens. We're going to use these to kind of create the galaxy look. So I've picked out some really cute galaxy colors. So what we're going to do is use the outline of the letters. Now we're kind of got to color them in a little bit. So we're going to make it a little bit thicker to start off with. And I don't want to use too much black, because if we get too much black in it, it's just going to overpower all the other colors. So I'm going to go with my lighter purple, obviously sticking to the old upstrokes being thin and the downstrokes being a lot darker. Adding a bit more dark purple here to give it almost like an ombre feel. Now, if you're interested to know which paper we're using on the bottom here, this is the Le Mom notebook, or Le Mom, who the hell knows, because who names something that we can't pronounce? What I'm taking here is just the water brush pen, dipping it in a little bit of water. And we don't want too much, because we all know that in our notebooks it ends up getting all smushalooshes. So let's go really slowly and just blend all of those colors together. Now don't be too sad if you go out of the lines a little bit, because you want it pretty big, because you'll see what we're going to do next is going to bring all of it together. So for the next one, we are going to do block letters. So we now have these all sketched out. I am using my Derwent watercolor pencils for this. So let's color this sucker in. I absolutely adore this pink. Casual, because we're going to again later border it with quite a thick pen, so that's going to create the border that we want. A little bit of that nice minty blue or green, depending on which color group you are into. And I think I'll add a little bit of black into this A as well. I'm going to take our wee water brush and we're just going to blend those colors together. Now, because we're a bunch of cool cats, what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to add a little bit of gold into it, because it's a galaxy. Let's have some gold, right? Just a smudge here or there. I don't know if you can see the luster in that, but it's pretty sparkly. All right, so that's 2 down. That's our Tombows and our Derwents or Derwents down. Now we're going to use Ecoline. And this is a nice, easy way of creating some really beautiful galaxies. Now, I don't want to use black Ecoline because it is extremely black and can be quite confronting is the only way I can describe it, especially when you're trying to blend colors. So with this, you want to go really gentle, and we're going to start over here, and we're going to make this one a swirly one too. So here we're only using colors 337, 640, and 507. See, I love how those colors just blend together and just create such beautiful effects with the Ecolines. It's ridiculous. All right, let's add some purple into this guy as well. Have to admit that 640 might be one of my favorite colors of all time. All right, now we wait for that one to dry. And then finally, let's go with our primer marketing watercolors. All right, not spelling it wrong this time. You can see these purples are just a little bit different. Most of these colors that I'm using at the moment are out of the Tropical Confections range for primer marketing. And these don't take much to get wet. You just need essentially a drip on each of the half pans. All right. Okay. So this guy should be dry, which is fabulous. This, call him what he is, this fuck up down the bottom. You know, we'll just cover it with something. Okay, whoopsies. What a shocker. Anyway, okay. So what I'm now going to do is I am going to, if this is dry enough, I'm actually going to use my jelly roll. And I'm going to start giving my galaxy some stars. Now, I don't want to... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this guy upside down for the time being so that I don't touch the other ones when I'm giving my galaxy some stars. And then I'm just going to cover, you know, that guy down the bottom, make sure, you know, it was there the whole time, really. So we're going to add some stars. Now, can you guys see that? There we go. Okay, adding some stars. Put some stars in our galaxy. What we're going to do now is we are going to outline it. Okay, let's go real slow. I'm using a 0.05 W black liner. I recently discovered these. They were $4 and amazing. They don't smudge, they're waterproof, so I can actually paint over them as well. I am going to create my drop shadow with the pen. So I'm thinking, what side am I going drop shadowing on? This side, right. So I'm going to start here. So essentially I'm using a hard tip feud pen. Sorry, I was just concentrating there for a second. I'm using a hard tip feud pen, and I'm using, when you press harder, obviously it makes a thicker line. So I'm using that to create the drop shadow. That's how I'm cheating a little bit. So you can see how that that brush pen really just helps you cheat a little bit on the drop shadow. It really gives you those nice thick lines. Let's not forget this wee little spot here. Okay, and that's our first one done. If you want to take it another step further, you can easily just add in some gray as well, and you can create essentially some drop shadowing behind it. Now, for those, I will just cover that fail up again. Embarrassing. You'll see on this side, there's very little There is definitely ghosting, but there's very little bleeding overall. It's only where we put a lot of that water down the bottom, which was a bit of an accidental. Now, just to get these guys drying a little faster. Okay, so I'm going to turn it around again while I wait for those guys to dry. This time I'm going old school drop lettering on this one. Again, we're going to go all the way around. This time we are not cheating in the drop lettering department. Now you'll see that you are still able to see some of the pencil lines. That's why we have this magic squishy eraser, because it picks up the pencil without picking up any of your paint or pens. So this was the 0.5. I'm now going to grab my 0.1 and I am going to essentially start creating that 3D effect. So I love my white jelly roll. I've also got the pretty standard Uniball Sino. That's also great for creating those white galaxy stars. Okay, we can now take our really cool eraser just to erase out some of those pencil lines. All right, onto our middle galaxy, which is my personal fave at the moment. Now, the only downside with Ecoline water paints is that they bleed quite heavily, and if this is 120 GSM paper, you can just imagine how that's gonna leak on your 80 GSM paper of your other journals that we get. Scribbles That Matter is usually up around the 100s. It's 100 GSM. The best notebook we've found at the moment for watercolor and for heavy water is the Archer and Olive notebook. And if you pop Archer and Olive into Google, or Archer and Olive review into Google, our review is the first one that comes up because I used it pretty much for everything. I tried her original ones that came out. There weren't a lot of pages. I think there was 112 pages. So it only really lasted me maybe 3 months as a journal. But absolutely loved the fact that you could pretty much demolish it with water and watercolor and crayons and have absolutely no bleed through. It was 160 GSM paper. It's practically like cardboard. So the next one I'm going to try is her A5 sized journal, and I'm pretty excited about that because she's sending an extra one over to give away as well. So that's going to be pretty awesome. So you better keep an eye out on the Instagram page because our 50,000 people, 50,000 follower giveaway is going to probably crop up pretty soon because we're at 46 at the moment. Good lordy. Again, we're going to create that drop shadow, but this time I want to create something a little bit different. I'm really eager to see, once you guys have tried this, I'm eager to see which one worked best for you and what yours looked like as well. I would love to see what you write with your Galaxy inspiration. Oh shit, I forgot the A. Whoopsies. Well, at least I didn't spell it wrong, right? Oh shit. I do love this blue and pink of the Ecoline. I really love how they blend together. They really, just the blending of the Ecolines just make my soul so much happier. So what we're going to do a little bit differently on this one is we are going to add the drop shadow like this. Now I'm not being precious about the outline, because essentially it's supposed to look organic and natural. It's not supposed to look like I've printed it off a font site and then just put galaxy coloring through it. Okay, N45 or N55, let's have a look which one is. Okay, so N55 it is. Here we're just gonna add a shadow all the way. I am very keen to see what you guys do with this, because I know you are going to run off and give it a go. Said no one ever, it's the weekend. But I would be keen to see what you guys end up making, and I'd love to see the end of your creations. All right. So, thank you very much, and I hope you have an amazing weekend. Let's have a quick zoom in of these. I love the shininess of that one, and I love how fun they look.